Deadlands Dime Novels, The Adventures of Young and Holt, Issue 33, The Violence You Make. I'm your narrator, Ernest Wick, intrepid reporter for the Tombstone Epitaph. In this issue, Porter is preparing Regina for the looming battle with Reddington, Ike, and of course, Patchy. Considering everything Porter's told her of late, we hope she takes it well. Joshua, on the other hand, is marching with Reddington and company into the miners' camp. We're very curious to see who he'll end up betraying. Regardless, it's going to be bloody, so we'd best see where they're at.
What I would discuss with her beforehand, whatever shows up, to have her hang out in the tent and wait for a chance with the rifle to sort of turn the battle, so that they don't target in on her until she gets that perfect shot.
She looks at you though. So what are you going to be doing?
Well, depending on what's coming, hopefully going to I'm going to hold up one of the things of dynamite. Hoping that, and then if that doesn't work, I hold up the other thing of dynamite.
Are you going to throw those, or are you going to get up close to whatever's...
Hopefully the first.
Okay, so can you use your magic to get up there, or is it...
Well, I mean, it's dark, and there's lots of tents. I'm hoping to just catch them off guard.
That doesn't sound very magical. That just sounds like you're sneaking around.
Well, it's not like I can wave my hand and flame erupts out of a campfire or anything like that.
Can't you do that thing that you showed me with the card, how you got it stuck, but just do that like really, really, really hard? Instead of you messing with dynamite? I mean, that...
Well, yes, but, I mean, that... If you saw a giant man, what do you think hurts more? A card or 2 stacks of dynamite?
Well, to be fair, that's a magical card, so a dynamite card...
Okay, now you have about as much knowledge of how much damage that magical card can do as I do.
She grabs your hand. Porter, what are you doing?
I don't know.
All right, I'll tell you what. If you want me to stay here, I'll stay here, and I'll look for a good shot, but I'm not going to let anybody get to you.
I'm okay with that. Just don't get killed, please.
Well, that's definitely what I'm going to try, and make sure that doesn't happen. And I guess the same for you.
I'm trying very hard at that.
Okay, all right. No, it's okay. Okay, I'll wait here. So you're... Oh, go ahead. You're gonna play a card?
Immediately?
And then you can work this in wherever we need to be.
All right.
Okay. So, got a card called Warm Fuzzy.
Oh boy. Okay.
So Joshua can still hear Reddington's voice as he's rambling on about the new science and his successes with Patchy, but Joshua's still in a daze from the previous day's events, and his attention isn't really focused on Patchy or Ike or Reddington, but the small tin that he's holding in his hand, and he's staring at it, working up the nerve to open it. It's a small brass tin with a decorative shell on top, and the shell still has bits of dirt from Abigail's grave on it. So he gets the nerve worked up, and he slowly opens it up, and he can see a silver charm bracelet inside with a really fragile chain on it, really dainty and small. It's got a dove, and a rose, and a flower, some other silver charms on it, and it's resting on top of a folded cotton handkerchief with some needlepoint of an unfinished A that's wrapped around a tuft of Abigail's hair. The sight of that kind of triggers, it being an unfinished needlepoint. And the reason it's unfinished is because of, and immediately Joshua goes back to that remembrance of his gun going off, and he does a quick centers himself, and then continues opening that up, and in the lid is a photograph of him and Abigail that they had done a while back while they were in town. And he's sitting in a chair, she's standing next to him with her hand on his shoulder, and at that he just kind of can't take it anymore. Old wounds of all those memories washing back over him, so he just snaps that lid shut, puts it in his vest, and kind of shakes that off as if, dreamlike state, gotta get down to business. Now, where am I?
You shove that into your pocket of your jacket, and as you're looking up, with that expression on your face, trying to snap yourself back into where you were. Ike's looking at you, and he's just kind of staring at you a bit. And you all right there?
I'm here.
Wrong.
Let's do this.
You're on the page.
Yep. Lead on.
So we're ready then, gentlemen. Yes.
Yes.
Good. Patchy, let's go. We're going to go this way. Patchy just kind of groans slightly as you head out the back, kind of the back secret entrance of the Bell Union, and make your way down the street and off quickly to the side into the camp. Moonlight-wise, it's probably about a half moon, and so there's just a dim beam of light that just shows over like the white tents of this essentially tent city portion of Deadwood, and you can see some low campfires in the distance. Almost on the other side, there's sounds of some activity kind of going on. A few people maybe talking. Maybe there's somebody playing a harmonica in the distance. It's certainly not active by any means, because most of these miners, they've come back, they're tired, and so they've gone to rest. And you stop, the three of you stop maybe about 20 feet outside of the border where the tents are. All right, gentlemen, so we're going to let Patchy do his thing. If I need you to do any particulars, I'll let you know. But are you ready to see him in action? Ike he says, "You're the boss, whatever." Patchy. And he gestures towards Patchy, and Patchy leans down, and he kind of speaks a bit into the visor. And you see Patchy lowered himself down into a crawl type of pose, so he's on all fours, not on like his hands and knees, but it's just all fours. And he begins this awkward looking, because remember he has like one horse hoof and one of his hands is a claw, this awkward gait as he begins snaking his way into camp. Okay. Very quickly he winds his way almost out of sight. In fact, make me a notice check. We'll see how long you can hang on to watching him there, Joshua.
Pair of fives, but I do have a level of fatigue, so 4.
4. You lose sight of him pretty quickly. He gets maybe about 2 or 3 tents in, and he disappears from sight. And Reddington, you can see him in the moonlight smiling. And he takes his goggles and he pops them down over his head and he adjusts them slightly. He says, part of the the fun in this all is watching the magic at work here. And then also, the nice thing about with Patchy is that he has a bit of a stealth to him. Now, I could have just had him go rampaging in through the crowds. I've done that test once. Well, there wasn't really much crowds, I guess, for him to rampage through. But I had him do the fairy tale monster stomping thing. And this stealth approach is something new I'm trying with Patchy to see how well it works. My benefactors hopefully will be pleased should this all work out correctly. And you see Reddington kind of adjusting his gaze as he's kind of turning. Well, it looks like he's messing with his goggles slightly, as if he's trying to find or follow Patchy. Porter, you and Regina are sitting there, and you're kind of looking around. There's not much conversation going on, and you hear a familiar voice, but you hear it before you see. He says, "Oh yeah, you're still there." And in walking into the limited glow of your fire. And the half moonlight that's coming down. It's Jim. He's actually come back to camp. He says, "Oh yeah, I didn't. Sorry to have to come back and interrupt things here. I actually forgot something in the tent, and I was. But I'll just go and get that real quick and head back out to Elmer, and everything should be just fine. Oh, so you're having some stew there? Make me a notice roll, Porter." Four? All right. So Jim says, "Oh, you're making some stew there." And then something happens. Okay. So Jim says, "Oh, I see I got some stew there." And then all of a sudden you see this massive shape just come up behind him. It just literally just like rises up behind him. He doesn't even see it. Jim's pointing towards the stew pot, and then this claw bursts right through his gut. Just boom, and there is this spray of blood and guts that showers both you and Regina. And there is entrails just kind of dripping off this claw as it comes through, and you can see it almost looks like the Juggernaut in a certain sense, standing behind the way this metal pot with this visor is right behind him. This claw has come through Jim's chest, and Jim is just kind of standing there like, and he looks down and he sees this patchwork arm and his own guts in this hand, and he kind of looks behind, and then he looks at you, Porter, and his eyes go wide, and he says, "What?" And then his body just slumps, and the arm flings this way, and Jim's body goes flying over the tent and crashes into another tent. And you and Regina get to make a guts roll.
I was already picking up the dice.
This is actually going to be at a -3.
Well,
Should it be -4 since you're next to a stew pot?
how about yellow major? Your hero is squeamish at the sight of blood and gore and terrified of coming to harm. He subtracts 2 from all his fear-based spirit checks.
This is definitely fear-based.
I do have true grit, though.
You get to have your grip. Ooh, yep, she's scared.
I can't imagine why.
Who would have guessed? So, okay. Porter is holding it together.
Nice.
He just rolled an 8.
Oh, very good. The body goes flying away. Regina, the open mouth, screams, and she drops the rifle in panic. Do initiative. All right, 10 for you, Porter. Regina gets a 6. Patchy gets a 5. I always get low ones for the bad guys. Porter, looks like you get to go first.
I've been looking through powers here
Okay.
because I got that level up and I haven't decided what I wanted to do. And I think Porter gaining arcane inspiration in the middle of battle because of the trouble we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Porter is going to grab her and he's going to Shadow Walk. I was hoping with Arcane Inspiration maybe not have to spend some power points, because this essentially refreshes all power points, is what it's supposed to do.
All right.
And just maybe go for a tent that's quite a ways away. Maybe grab the rifle on the way with her.
Make me an agility roll.
Okay.
And let's see if you grab the rifle. I mean, you do have it together. I'll even let you add your grit to this roll.
Okay. That is a 6.
I love the idea of your fear triggering some innate ability you have never used before.
Yeah, for sure. You put one arm around Regina, you grab the rifle with your other hand.
Which I got an 8 in.
You aced on that, baby. Yeah.
So that's a 10.
Nice. All right, so you succeeded with the raise. Okay. So you suffer a level of fatigue.
Yes.
Okay.
So I essentially see him and go, oh crap, grab them, and just dive forward, and it just kind of disappears, and then comes out the side of a tent.
Okay.
Much farther away, and just kind of land.
Are you going the max distance?
Yes.
All right. And you come out the other side of this tent that's a distance away, and it almost like you fly forward a little bit and kind of tuck and roll, and land. You hear Reddington go, oh, well, that was interesting, gentlemen. I might need your services here sooner rather than later. It appears Patchy may have a bit of good fortune, almost in a certain sense, or maybe himself into a little bit of trouble. Let's just go through, make our way gently. And he starts walking you forward.
Since he can see where we're going, I'm going to let him lead.
Okay.
And I'll be trying to watch out behind him.
All right. So Regina, you roll up and you're kind of on top of her, and she looks at you. She goes, he. It was right. What, was that him? Was that the judge? What the hell was that?
Calm down.
He went right through his chest.
He did.
Oh my gosh, you got it all over me. Oh, you got it on you. Oh, God. She starts like frantically pushing you off and like wiping this stuff. What the?
I'm trying to hold her down.
No.
Because I'm assuming he can't see us as we're at that side of the tent, so I'm just trying to make sure we don't.
Where is it?
We got away. He doesn't know where we are.
What? But he was right there. Wait. This is our tent.
We got away.
What happened? What did you... Did you do something?
I think so.
Why do you keep saying that you don't know and that you don't think so?
Because I don't know!
You're not giving me a lot to trust about you, Porter.
But I don't know what to tell you. And shh.
And then you can hear in the distance at this point, you can hear some shouts, and then you can also hear like some other groans. Then you can start to hear some gunshots, perhaps. 6? No, 9. You got a 6. Regina gets an ace. Patchy gets a 7. All right, so Regina. Okay, all right. So what? He's over there.
Yes.
How do we get so far away? All right, what are we gonna do?
Find a safe spot. Set up the same plan as before.
Porter. Okay, look. The safest spot would be not in this town. We could just go. We could just go.
I can't do that.
Where's your friend? He's not here.
He's coming.
How do you know this? You've only known him for a few weeks. Come on, Porter. Porter, we can just go. We can just go.
I can't leave him.
All right. Okay, so she gets up and then she gets into a position to take aim.
Just stay low. Get further away if you need to. You don't have to set up here.
No, I'll move. Don't worry, I'll move. What are you going to do on your action?
I'm going to realize I left behind the shotgun and dynamite.
I'll give you a chip for that. Because that was great.
And she sees me frantically like, oh shit.
Oh, and after that, Joshua, I need to give you a chip for your warm fuzzy card as well. Because that was pretty cool.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put a hand on her shoulder and say, just stay low, you'll be fine. And I'm going to cast Deflection on her.
Would you go making a deal?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
You get that new card in your deck now too, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes. So, before you go and making your hand, as you sit down and you begin to engage in your contest of wits and wills with the cards, with the Manitou, you, of course, are thinking about this new card that Jasmine gave you.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you would like, you can replace one of your cards with that card and have it come up in your hand.
Well, see, the problem is, I failed.
Ooh.
I've never actually failed like this before.
No, you haven't. Which means that it becomes a huckster backfire.
It does.
It's also, it's too bad that you're putting your hand on Regina's shoulder when the backfire occurs.
And this is literally what Porter's saying. I hate to use all my cards right away, but I can't let anything bad happen to her. So, even if it puts him in danger later, he'll probably use the card now.
The King of...
the King of Hearts.
King of Hearts?
To draw two more cards for the hand, rather than the backlash.
We'll see if you get any help.
Oh, I know. That's good. I actually hit a flush and +6s. So, I'm going to take, I think the flush is better. That's a success with a raise for deflection.
All right.
So, for the next 3 rounds, she has a -4 penalty to being hit.
So you're here in this this empty saloon playing cards with this individual who's dressed all in maroon, and his hat is tipped low, so you can't quite see his face, although you can always tell he's smiling no matter what. And as you're playing, you toss 2 cards back and say, I'll take 2. And he deals you the 2 cards, and you're looking at them and you realize that you have a winning hand at that point, and you play your flush, and you say to him, I win. And he kind of nods, and he looks at you, and he points to one of the cards and touches it with his finger, and it turns into that King of Hearts. And then he looks up at you, so you can see his white tooth smile, and you can finally catch a glint of one of his eyes. And he looks at you, and then he just says, "Did you?" And make me a spirit roll.
9.
9. All right. Mark somewhere on your sheet that you have 1 tick, and then you say, "Well, of course." He just nods, and you are pulled back into the real world, and you can tell that Regina has been properly affected by the hex. And what do you got, a 6? Okay, so...
6 hearts.
All right. So as you're moving through the tents, you can see things happening with Patchy. It looks like the tent where Jim's now lifeless body has crashed into, guy has come out of there with a gun drawn, and you can see a little bit of the shadows of this, and he starts yelling. Patchy essentially has moved up, closed the distance with him, and just took a swipe, and you see his body or his silhouette just spin around and immediately flop to the ground. Even through your hard of hearing, you can hear some other shouts of commotion.
Seeing that and hearing that, Joshua's vision goes from Patchy doing this to a long-haired, backward-bended-knees, clawed woman doing the same thing in a mining camp. Mm-hmm. And these visions kind of overlay themselves, and he shakes himself out of that, and he's like, not again. And he pulls both guns, points it at the back of Blondecoat's head, and basically says, let's settle this once and for all. Which might doom all of us, but let's
Oh, is it that? I think you had this last time. We never used it.
Plays being a combat round with no jokers, which this is. No character who can soak wounds until a joker is drawn.
No character can soak wounds until a joker is drawn.
Until a joker is drawn. So you're going to draw on him and then go to shoot?
Yep.
Okay. As you go to do that, you go, let's settle this. there's a bit of a motion off to your side, and you hear a rustle of a coat, and you can hear the sound of metal on leather, and you can tell that somebody off to your left, which you know as Ike, is also drawing. Let's do agility here, because he's attempting to try and interrupt you.
Okay. I'm gonna burn a white.
Oh, base. There we go.
Is a 9.
9. You beat Ike. He got a 7. You can hear him say, "Do you wanna?" And then you are. Then you may shoot.
This is the first time I've used my new pistols.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm basically using the shotgun in both of them.
Right. That's right. These ones.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna go called shot to the head.
Ooh,
for both
okay.
of them.
All right. So that's -4.
Called shot, both guns. It's gonna be a -2, -4. With all my stats added up.
All right. I'm going to ask you. So the warm fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more motivated by this, or are you more motivated by the situation that you just described about the two visions inter
Well,
meeting themselves?
they're both connected because Abigail becoming what she did led to the slaughter of the mining camp. And it'll be, not again am I going to be responsible for this kind of atrocity, and it's my duty to stop this.
All right, so a little bit of both, a little bit of A, a little B. All right, I will give you a +1 then from the warm fuzzy.
So it's going to be a -1, -3.
-1, -3.
Okay.
You've had worse.
So the D10 is a skill die, so let's hope that doesn't come up a 1.
Or he could shoot Regina.
Yeah.
She is an ally.
So it's going to be a 7 -1 would be a 6.
6
on the first one.
Which is a hit.
This one,
I saw.
totally a 9 before I got hit by the D6. I'm gonna have to start rolling these one at a time. So it's gonna be, total miss on the second one.
Okay.
The first shot being a hit, and it was a headshot.
Yes, so it's +40 damage.
And so 8 and 5 is 13. And he can't
Wait,
soak
wait.
any of this.
No, +5.
Oh, what?
You-
8 and 5, 13.
Yeah,
Plus
you-
5, you're right, 18.
All right, so 18 points of damage.
Yep.
All right, so the gun goes off. So yeah, it just rips a section of the back of Samuel's head off. In about 3/4 of his hair just goes spraying in the ground in front of you, and he just hollers, lets out just this massive scream as he goes down on one knee. His other hand goes up to his head, and he just howls in pain.
Can it have blown his goggles off too?
And his goggles absolutely can
Sweet.
be ripped off as well. And he's down on the ground. You're standing there as he's down. Ike looks at you. You son of a bitch! And then he just takes a shot at you. That is a hit with a raise. So
Okay.
an additional D6 on this. 14 points of damage. So 4 is shaken. 8 and 12. So you've got 2 wounds.
I already had 1, so that puts me at -3.
Okay. Yeah, so Ike he just like nails you right in the kind of the upper shoulder and staggers back.
So did things just get real?
Things got real.
So now that everyone's almost dead.
Yep. Well, except for you, Porter, that you're doing just fine.
That's because I haven't engaged with anyone yet.
6 diamonds for Porter, King of clubs for Joshua, 4 of hearts for Regina, and Ike. Ooh, Samuel, you poor bastard. And Patchy. Ooh. Okay, so Patchy goes first. You're stumbling back, Joshua, from the shot, and you see this because you can definitely see where Patchy is, Porter.
Yes.
And you also heard 2 gunshots go off as well nearby, and there hasn't been any other gunshots yet. So your attention was kind of drawn off slightly to the side. You see Patchy turn And immediately you just start moving as fast as he is able to through the camp towards the place where those gunshots went off. And he's making good progress to the point where he probably will be there next turn. And that would put you up next, Joshua. Ike is just standing there. He has lowered his gun slightly, looking at you. He's just waiting to see what it is that you're doing. Even though you still technically have the drop on him, but...
Joshua knows at this point it'd be real easy to use his wounded arm to bring it over and basically just fan the hammer and drop Ike right where he stands.
Okay.
But he's ridden with Ike in the past, and as much of a cur as this piece of meat is, he still has to give him an honorable death. So he's going to slowly holster both of his guns and just kind of throw it back, and just bring his hands out and stare Ike down. Shooting a man in the back or doing it right?
And he goes next.
So basically trying to initiate a duel if he's going to let it be.
Ike sees you do that, looks at you, looks down at Reddington.
He ain't going to be paying you anytime soon.
Holsters his gun, flicks his coat back. All right, you've got your wish. Porter, make me a notice check.
Oh, 3. As I don't have a shotgun, I don't trust my ability with a gun, so there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to bolt, and my goal is to make a called shot to his leg, his bad leg. See if I can bring him down face first or something. I'm going to actually just spend the power points.
Ooh.
I am going to just go all in here. I'm going with 6 power points, which means 3 bolts. Yep. So I've got 3 cards in my hand, and I'm just going to throw all 3 of them. So 3 rolls here.
All right, and you're going call shot to the leg, you said?
Call shot to the leg is a -2. First one is a 6.
You actually also get a +2 to hit because he is a large size. So that it's essentially your -2 is negated.
Second one is a 9. That's a hit with the raise.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's a double 1.
Oh.
You know what? I'm gonna re-roll
Reroll
that. Can I re-roll again?
Uh-huh.
Is that,
Yeah, you absolutely can.
This is important. I need to do this now.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You miss again.
Oh, 3 and a 1.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, I guess I'm just gonna stick with that.
All right, so you got 2 of them hit with raises.
Raises. So that's 3d6, and it's an extra d6 because of the raise.
Correct.
First one. 11. That's a much better roll.
2 of them exploded.
12, 10, 22, 31.
31 on the second one. First card flings through the darkness, and it's just this bright streak of green that you see out of the corner of your eye, Joshua, and it hits him in the upper thigh, and he staggers slightly, and then as that leg falls forward, the second one clips him right in the knee and just slices clean through the knee, and Patchy, then he goes tumbling over, basically ass over tea kettle, and he disappears from sight as he crashes into a tent. Regina looks at you. That looked more powerful than dynamite. Regina looks around and she says, "Wait, isn't that? I think that's your friend over there." And she's pointing off to near the edge of the camp in the direction where Patchy was running towards. Samuel Reddington stands himself up, pulls wet, red, dripping hand away from his head, and he turns and looks at you and You shot me, and you can see part of his left or his right side of his cheek is missing. And yeah, you. And he looks back towards where Patchy is, just in time to see him stumble and see the green flashes. You. He looks in your direction. You can't see that he's looking at you.
No idea what's going on.
And he slams a button on the bandolier on his chest. Samuel slams a button on his chest, and you see his bandolier just... There's all these little curly Q-tip designs, and this blue glow just starts to pulse through it. It pulses through once, then it pulses through a second time, and you see each time it goes faster, 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 faster. Almost like when you're taking a stick with an ember on the end and you're whipping it around, you can see the trails. And then you see Samuel himself start to move, and almost like he's being traced by this glowing outline as he's beginning to move faster. And there's like little droplets of blood are coming off of his head, and they also have a brief momentary glow as they go away from his head. Yeah, so he moves slightly away from you and looks like he's reaching for a weapon. So you want to do the duel first right now?
Yeah, we can do the duel first right now.
All right, let's do it.
So my current grit is 3, so I will get 5 whole. 5 total cards to his 2, unless he has...
And he does have Duelist and a grit of 2, so he will get an additional 2 cards.
3, 4, 4, 5.
Can't let this happen again, Ike. Blonde Coat had to be stopped. Bore witness to a camp full of miners getting ripped apart once, and be damned if I'll let it happen again.
That's the way you feel about things. It's just a paycheck. You don't have to go getting all personal on this. But now you did. Sorry, I'm gonna have to end this.
You know, I wondered for years why people around me seemed to die. Figured I was just unlucky, cursed, both. Turns out, there's something dark out here. It's roaming the west. It doesn't want to let me die. You know what? That's something dark. It's casting a shadow over you right now. It's whispering to me.
Oh, there's something here that's going to let you finally go to rest. That's going to be me. And he looks down at his Colt. And this.
And one more thing I should tell you about that. That gun you're carrying was used to kill your brother. Shot him dead down a long, dark tunnel of dirt. Can you see it, Ike? That long, dark tunnel? Closing in. Punishment for all you've done. Can you see it?
He looks down at the gun again. Looks up at you. It's impossible. You weren't there.
Threw that lantern in, lit you both. Ducks in a barrel.
You son of a bitch. Oh, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay hard.
Alright, so we both make a taunt or intimidation to try to unnerve the other opponent. And then this is basically a contested roll. One roll. I was taunting.
Yeah, he would actually be taunting you back. Because he doesn't have intimidation.
You gonna shoot me with the gun that shot your brother?
My brother, it's all over you.
Ooh. So that's going to be a 10 minus 3 for a 7.
A 7. He actually got an 11.
Oh, nice. So I'm pulling first.
He says to you, Mike never liked you. So I'm looking at this as his way of getting his sweet revenge. We helped you far too much. You know, we tried to stop you from killing that girl, but you just wouldn't have
Don't
it.
you... There we go. All right. So, because I lost the taunt, I'm at an additional, or I should say, to all my other minuses, I'm at a -2 now.
Okay, and you're still going to be the +1 because of the warm fuzzy.
Okay. The player not involved in the duel deals a row of 3 cards face up on the table. Then deals 2 more cards face up one at a time with a pause in between.
Okay.
From these face-up cards and the duelist's whole cards, the gunslingers aim to make the best poker hand they can by using at least 2 cards from the hand and those revealed on the table. As soon as the duelist thinks he's got a good hand, he shouts, shoot. This can be after the first 3 face-up cards have been dealt, or after each of the other 2 cards have been dealt. If neither duelist has chosen to shoot before the last face-up card is dealt, both have to draw once the card's revealed, regardless of how good their best hand is.
Joker was the first one.
Yeah.
5 diamonds. Ace of hearts. The 4th card is a Jack of hearts.
Shoot. Okay, so who reveals first?
No, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter? Full house, aces over jacks.
Nice. So the difference between 3 of a kind and full house
It's
on the
quite
chart.
a bit. It's 3.
3. All right, so for each level over is an extra d6 of damage.
Oh boy.
Each cowpoke, starting with whoever lost the test of wills, now has to decide whether to go for speed or accuracy. So I'm going to go for accuracy since I've got a -4. So that'll give me the +2, so then I only at a -2 on my hit rolls.
Ike is going to go for speed.
So, can I play a card for him?
Plot twist card? Yes.
Kinda. Because this is a duel with an old friend, and it's sort of redemption for him and preventing this big tragedy. This is a tranquil moment for him to maybe give him a +1 on his accuracy.
For this one, I'll let it give you a +2. My interpretation of this is that Joshua is at peace no matter what.
Yeah.
He's either getting his vengeance and trying to do right by mistakes he made last time, or if he meets his fate, then he's serving justice for what he had done. So I think either way, Joshua's definitely at peace no matter what happens.
And part of me wants to switch it back to speed so that we both file simultaneously to see the outcome.
I'm fine with doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
For story purposes,
simultaneous.
Yeah, simultaneous
So
shot.
that puts me back at a -2.
That was not a good roll for me. But I am going to do a re-roll.
Okay, so that one's going to be a 7. So it's not a hit and a raise. With my bad arm. Just shooting the ground. Except I can re-roll that.
If you want to live, you're going to have to. Hey.
So that's going to be a 5.
Still hit.
5 and 7.
Both are hits. I just got a straight up hit.
Okay.
This could be you both could die.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you hit, I'm pretty much assuming he's going down.
All right.
Because remember, your damage is an extra
It's a
3d6.
3d6 plus his normal damage.
All right.
You roll your damage first, since all I essentially need to do is cause you a wound, I believe, correct?
1 wound would put me at incapacitated.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You roll any worse. Hey!
All right, so 13 points of damage.
Oh, not good.
So, here's his base damage. Is 8. That incapacitates you right there.
Yep.
All right, so you're down. You drop. Ike staggers back. So there's the duel. So that was... We'll get back to you. So Patchy is actually first. Porter, you see this shape kind of stagger up. Like this sheet of canvas kind of goes flying, and you see Patchy take a pole and prop himself up and begin to start staggering. He's making his way closer towards Reddington. There's a couple people now starting to take shots, and you see Patchy kind of stagger a little bit, but he is not going down. So he's got one more round before he can reach where Reddington is. Regina is next. Regina says, "He's up. I got the shot. I got the shot. Should I shoot?
Do it!
And she misses. It just actually kind of dings off of his helmet. Reddington, you're down, so you can't see this. Are you done with your posturing? He looks over at Ike. We need to go. We need to go. This is not good. And he takes his gun. Porter, you're kind of watching where Patchy's going, and you can see some motion, but then you see like this blue glow again kind of happen, over by the edge of the camp, and there's like this, and this ball comes shooting out of the barrel of something, and it doesn't like go like super far, but it lobs up in the air to an area just behind and to the left of Patchy, and basically just it hits, and there's this blue explosion of sort, and some flame kind of shoots up, and there's crackling electricity, and you hear a bunch of people in there just kind of go, ah! And then you can hear a shout, you can hear someone say, come Patchy, we have to go! And you see some little blue highlights, almost like a series of fireflies in the distance, almost in the shape of a human being, and they're starting to move away from the camp. Porter. And of course, there's our joke. That's going to help you though in your roll. Regina, believe it or not, Porter is actually first.
What?
Yeah, with a 4.
With the Joker, you get to jump in whenever you want.
Correct.
Right?
And since Reddington also got a Joker.
Oh, nice. Double Joker.
You're going to end up making a roll. So Reddington is actually going to go before you. Porter, you see it again because now you're kind of watching these little lights kind of zipping around. You see another blue glow and another poof. This ball comes out, lands in another spot, almost again behind Patchy as it's moving. And another big explosion with the lights and the electricity crackling through there. And again, more screams. You can hear a few more gunshots as Patchy continues to move. But you do get to go.
Okay. Where I'm at, how far away is the dynamite?
Whatever distance you shadow walked.
And how far away is Patchy, or how far away is he from me?
It's almost triangular, about 8 squares, so 8 inches.
Okay. Well then, I guess I'm going for the dynamite first.
Okay, are you going to draw?
Yeah.
Would you like the King of Hearts to come up? I mean, if it comes up naturally, it comes up naturally, but if you'd like it to come
This time, no.
Okay.
I'm going for the dynamite.
Alright.
Because it's much further than I can actually run. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oof.
5. Come
Get a
on.
pair.
Not 2 pair. 6, 7.
2 pair.
Yeah, I got
you there.
I only need 3 points, so yeah, 2 pairs 4. It doesn't. Now I have to roll my spell casting to see if I can make it all 15 feet. I got it. 10. So I sort of step back into the tent that Regina was standing at and appear back coming out of the tent that we were at.
Nice.
I snatch up all 3 things of dynamite, and I'm staying crouched down.
Alright.
And I'm getting a bead on where
Patchy is?
Patchy and Reddington.
Alright. Reddington is further away than Patchy right now because he's moving. He's not running hardcore away. He's trying to stay somewhat within range of Patchy, but he doesn't.
Can I make a notice check to try and spot him?
Yes, you can. Make that roll. You're going to be at -2 because of the darkness and dimness here.
Yeah, that's a 2.
All right. You cannot see him. Next up is going to be Ike. Ike spends his action essentially providing more cover for Reddington, but he may do something else depending upon Joshua's roll.
Joshua's going to go last.
You think Joshua's going to go last? All right. Joshua, camera goes to your perspective, and it's muffled slightly because A, you're dying, and you're also hard of hearing. And your eyelids are slits, and so there's a haze, and you can hear some muffled gunshots, but they sound like they're coming closer. And then Ike comes into view, and it's one of those situations where you see the shape, and then there's like a dissolve, and the shape is closer to you, and you feel some pressure on your chest, like a hand is groping at you, like it's looking for something.
Oh,
And that is his action. Patchy continues to move, make his way, taking a couple shots here and there, but he's not going down because he's a tough hombre. And Regina notices that you have vanished, and so she does something.
Wait, I haven't got it yet.
Sorry, go ahead. So now it's your turn, Joshua.
I get a +2 on my actions because of the Joker.
Correct.
So it's just a straight D6 plus wild die roll. And they're both 3s.
Is it failure?
Okay.
For the injury table and soak rolls.
All right. So they should be roughly the same.
And I want high or low?
Oh, you want middle.
Well, that's as about middle as you can get.
You get a 7.
1 and a 6.
7.
7 guts. Your hero catches one somewhere between the crotch and the chin. Roll 1d6 in the subtable.
Oh, it's a
3.
spinner.
It's a 3. That's a 5.
5. Busted. His strength is reduced by a die type.
Well, I can't go down any further.
It's already a D4.
So it would be d4 minus 1 then?
So D4 minus 1.
Well, that was your immediate big roll. So now, essentially,
And then this action would have been...
the bigger roll right now. So you just need to get a straight up 4 to essentially stay alive.
Okay.
You are definitely still alive. You're hazy, but you're there. But you still feel that same sensation on you now, even though you technically don't have any actions.
Yeah, my arms would be really loosely trying to stop, so Ike would know I'm not dead to the world yet.
All right.
Not that I could stop him in my weakened, busted up state. And if he finds it, that will be a tragedy.
Ooh. So, first up is Regina. Joshua, you're pawing at those arms, and you hear this, "Hold still," and then something hits you in the face, and then you hear him go, "Ah!" Reddington goes. Reddington is going to hold his action, so your queen may go.
Okay. I want to... So how far away is...
Patchy?
Yes.
He is within range of Shadow Walk regardless, because I think this is going to be cool what you're about to try and do.
But the problem is what I'm going to do, I wanted to jump twice, so I wanted to set it up this turn.
You got fuse.
I do.
You do?
So, I'm going to jump. Again, I'm going to spend 3 points.
Okay.
Straight up.
Straight up to do it.
That leaves me with 1 left. So I'm going to appear kind of... If there's a tree or something that's somewhat in his path.
There is...
And it keeps me out of Patchy's sight at the same time.
All right. There's a wagon.
Nice.
Without a horse, but there's a wagon that is right there.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of sort of... Patchy's crawling this way. I'm going to pop in right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to... pull out a match. Light them both. Just toss them in his path.
With Joshua lying on the ground, struggling to stay alive, and Porter playing with explosives, things aren't looking well for our heroes. We'll find out what happens as we conclude this little dust-up in our next issue, Is the Violence That Takes. The part of Joshua Young is played by Brent Rich, Porter Holt is played by Brad Smith, and your intrepid marshal is played by Chris Hussey. Deadlands and Savage Worlds are the property of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Learn more about their great games at their website, peginc.com. And of course, thanks always to our friends at Fear the Boot, Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Intro and additional music provided by the Eaglestone Collective. Additional music by Gunslinger Andy. Contact information for the cast, as well as music links, can be found in the notes on our website, youngandholt.com. If you enjoy these issues, please consider dispensing a lovely 5-star review on wherever you do listen from. Please search for Fear the Boot Actual Play. It's kindly appreciated. I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph. And remember, the one thing that is certain in life is that we must leave it.